Hey, I'm Mike Peel, and I'm broadcasting live from the eVTOL Insights Conference here in New York. Jason Pritchard and the team is kind enough to let us come in and do some interviews. I got Mike here from the Vertical Flight Society, and Mike, so why are you coming to the eVTOL Insights Conference? Is this your first?
Well, yes, this is actually the first one in the U.S. They had one in London last year. But the Vertical Flight Society, we were founded in 1943 as the American Helicopter Society, but we're all things vertical now around the world. And we're the professional society for anybody working on vertical flight, whether it's drones, helicopters, advanced concepts, and eVTOL. And almost 10 years ago now, we saw the beginnings of what we call the eVTOL revolution, and it's just been really exciting to see all the maturity over the past decade, and just really pleased to work with Jason and the team at eVTOL Insights, who also working to bring the community together to understand and learn and make this great eVTOL revolution happen.
So, what was that like internally when you kind of had that aha moment that we're not just a helicopter society anymore?
Well, the drone revolution had been underway for some time, and actually in the the mid 1990s, with the development of the tilt rotor and other things that were vertical takeoff and landing, and the Joint Strike Fighter that were not helicopters, we actually changed the name to AHS International. And we've been using the term, we're the Vertical Flight Society for actually more than 50 years. So it was more of a recognition that we needed to change the name to better reflect our whole purview. But yeah, really since there was a lot of jet VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft in the 50s and 60s. So really kind of from that perspective, we were more and more looking, we're a big tent. We want to be an uplifting community for people to come and learn. And yeah, so just trying to provide a community for everybody.
Yeah, so you used the word uplifting community, and we had a conversation a little bit earlier. How exactly do you uplift players within the industry? How do you uplift the industry in general?
So we tell everybody, everybody's welcome. We want your ideas. If we had been the helicopter community and we're like, what are these eVTOL things? This is ridiculous. This is never going to do anything, right? So that wouldn't have been us, right? And I mentioned Joint Strike Fighter before, so I actually worked on the Joint Strike Fighter program in the 1990s, and they had a partnership where they, asked for help from AHS, the Vertical Flight Society. So from a technology perspective, we want disruptive ideas. We want everybody to contribute, and that's people with different ideas, people of different backgrounds, women, all genders, all ethnicities, all people, and really the more diverse you have from a background, you're going to have different problem-solving skills, and this is really about coming up with creative ideas and innovation.
Yeah, we were talking about that before, that if you were only focused on people that look like us, you have that percentage already. So in order to grow the pie and grow the perspectives, you really have to reach out to people and let them know this is a great place for you to start a career. It's an industry that's thoughtfully planning its future, and it's in terms of like other startup spheres, this one's a little bit more focused. Would you say not?
Yeah, sure. And I don't have a beard right now. I have had a beard, but we are both named Mike, right? So
Yes.
if we just hired people,
that's why I have the beard, so they could tell us
right.
apart.
So if we just hired people that look like us, right, we would have a certain way of thinking, and so yeah, it really is important to have people of different backgrounds and different expertise. You can't win a football game, and that's American football or soccer. You can't win a football team if everybody is a fullback, right? You got to have the diversity on the team, and that's really what this is all about, is trying to, and not just young people. We want young people, but like people coming from automotive or the drone industry or the medical industry, or we need everybody. We're really building a whole new industry.
Especially how this industry can help with medical deliveries. In fact, it could help with so many industries that you just don't think of immediately.
Absolutely.
That maybe your expertise in the industry you're in would actually be immediately applicable to a new way this technology could help. In the case of medical, save people's lives with organ transfer, or even
Absolutely.
transferring them after an
Absolutely.
accident. So you think about the cost of transporting somebody after a catastrophic accident. If anything we could do to reduce the price on that,
Right.
so that person doesn't face a bill,
Right,
at the-
$50,000 or whatever else, and
Right.
they're happy to be alive, but the sticker shock might kill them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of things that still need to be proven out. We think it's going to be quieter, safer, cheaper, better performance, all these things, and that's kind of where we are now on the cusp of actually proving that they are quieter, safer, cheaper, and better. But you mentioned, organ transfers, things like that. So one of the investors in one of the companies is, put a lot of money in basically an aircraft that will be green, not pollute, and be able to transfer or transport, like you said, patients or organs. And so that's a really exciting mission, is to be able to actually save lives, and not just saving time, but saving lives and really making a positive impact on society.
Yeah, and people have been talking about community buy-in and how important that's going to be for this industry to scale. I mean, the organ transfer thing is one example, but what are some other examples of things you think would get immediate kind of
Right.
community buy-in? Like, so I'm a person who owns a house, and you're flying over my backyard. Why do I want you there? Why will I allow you to be there?
So that's a really good point. I live in a suburb of Washington D.C. and there's not a lot of helicopter traffic because of the no-fly zone. But there's medical, police, parapublic, government, and military. And I always want to know why they're flying over who is that? Why are they flying over my house? But eVTOL aircraft are expected to be like 100 times, the kind of target is 100 times quieter than a helicopter. So we think that will, and it's a different noise. It's not going to be that wop wop noise. So we think it'll be
Doesn't
much,
transfer as much, right?
right.
So
It's not as, right. It doesn't.
The low
doesn't-
frequencies,
It doesn't
get
go as
further,
much.
yeah.
It won't rattle your dishes. So from that kind of annoyance factor, we hopefully won't be annoying people. But there's a difference between like social acceptance or community acceptance. Like I accept the fact that I have to pay taxes, right? But as you said, what is the demand? What is the community demand? Like we want not only that they're willing to suffer through it, right? We want them to say, hey, we want this in our community.
Yeah, not just like I'll tolerate it.
Right.
Like I want
Right.
this. Yeah.
And we're in downtown Manhattan. I took an Uber here. Some people hate Uber, right? But it was a great service, and so there's the benefit. I want to have Uber.
They hate to love Uber.
Right.
We've had this conversation before on that.
So when I
Yeah.
go to another city, I mean, I guess I could figure out how to call a cab or something like that. But I just go to my app, and so that's something that's the social desirability that people that use Uber really like it. So there's a couple key points, and we talked about this in the conference a bit. Yesterday I was in New Jersey, and to pop over the river, like 18 miles, it took almost an hour, right? And that was not during rush hour. So, that's one thing, is there's sort of these mid-range distances that are going to save a lot of time by not having to sit in traffic. That's one application. And if there's like a major barrier, right? So if you're like on Long Island and you're trying to go to Connecticut, right?
Or even today, getting into the city.
Right.
If
No,
I didn't
I've-
want to drive myself, but I don't want to take the train.
Right. And I don't know anything about subways. I mean, I guess I could have taken the
Well, even the
subway,
safety of my gear, that's a concern.
Yeah, sure.
Like
Oh,
depending
absolutely.
on the area that
Right,
you're
if
traveling
if
to. Yeah.
yeah.
So I would pay the money.
Yeah.
To not have to worry. Yeah.
And we think that initially it'll be more expensive, but as batteries get cheaper and better, and aircraft are more capable, then the price will come down, where it's going to be maybe it's $20 or $50. And speaking of pricing, I parked here last night, and it was $75 for
Yep,
like two and a half hours.
First time
Just
I'll
for-
be here,
just
it'll
for
be
parking.
65. So
Right,
it's
so-
not that much better. Yeah.
So just for
Yeah.
parking, and if I could have taken an Uber or eVTOL for $50 here from New Jersey, right? I mean, that would have been tremendous. So we think there's a lot of different use cases for maybe military applications, cargo, and this is really something like
Middle mile.
Yeah, this is something more like the invention of the jet engine or invention of the smartphone. Okay, when people first the first iPhone, like, it wasn't really that great, but it was so revolutionary, and
You kind of just knew.
Yeah, and here you look 15 years later, it's like, wow, that was the start of everything. The first ones couldn't do that much, but now looking at it today, and
Except for people who own Blackberries, they seem to hold on for a little bit
I
longer
had a
than everybody
BlackBerry,
else.
and I used to say, this thing does everything that I needed to do. It doesn't do anything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm an Android myself, but that start what iPhone did, and that's like some of the early eVTOL developers. They're going to have this, and it's really going to open everybody's eyes and the world's eyes to what vertical flight or what flight can do. I mean, most people only fly on an airplane, once or twice, once a year, a couple times a year. Many, billions of people haven't flown on airplanes. So this is really something that will bring, we hope, aviation to the masses.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen even that the World Economic Forum, other kind of large entities like that, also see how this technology, just vertical transportation in general, and what we're going to see over the next decade to 20 years is going to be super important.
Absolutely, and you really have
transforming society.
You really have to have the long view. The first aircraft will be out here in the next couple of years, but it's really, where are we going to be in 10 years and 20 years? That's the most exciting.
Yeah, so we got some comments from the chat. I'm going to have to say goodbye to Mike, and I'll say hello to the people who are saying hi. So thank you so much, Mike. It's been wonderful.
Thanks, Mike.
And everybody should check out the Vertical Flight Society.
Yep. And next time I'll have a beard.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. So I just want to say hi to Tony. Hi, Tony. Thanks for saying hi. And also, Dawn is out there in the background wishing me a great conference with Jason. So I found this amazing person, Eves. Come on over. So Turbulence Solutions is his company, and we were having a nice little chat before. Tell the audience what Turbulence Solutions does and why its technology will be important for the eVTOL market.
All right. First of all, hi, and hi to the listeners as well. We have developed a system consisting of software and hardware components that can be used to cancel out turbulence in flight, and we believe that it can enable smoother rides for the passengers, a better availability even when the weather is bad, and also fuel savings and an increased safety overall.
I didn't even think about that, fuel savings, but clearly if you're having to overcorrect, I'm running on a gimbal today, and if the weight is over, then it's wasting power, right? So that could actually, a small kind of disturbance can actually lead to a lot of fuel wasted, right?
Yes, exactly. And it could be a big barrier for the operations. If the routes have to be shorter, or if there's rerouting, it could become challenging, especially with the battery technology only getting there. We hope that we can help in that area.
So you mentioned rerouting, but actually your technology could help people not have to reroute,
yes,
right?
We could just fly straight through the turbulence.
So we've talked about microweather. We actually had our friends from True Weather do a product release with us recently, so you can take a look at that. Weather, it matters, right? It matters a lot for flight. So how exactly, I mean, without giving up the secret sauce, does your technology kind of combat turbulent weather conditions?
Well, we have a sensor in front of the plane that measures vertical airflows. And then the measurements are translated into flat movements, and the flat movements are rapid and in frequency with the turbulence that occurs, and so it can be cancelled out. It kind of works like noise cancelling. That's an easy way to imagine it.
So I had mentioned machine learning before because it seems like everybody kind of slaps that word on things, but one of the things that machine learning technologies usually get wrong is even the makers don't even know how it's solving the problem. But like your technology actually knows how it's correcting.
Yes,
right?
It's a deterministic system. That means there's no uncertainty. We know how it will react based on the sensor inputs, and the space of reactions is closed, not as compared to machine learning where, well, anything could happen. And we believe that this will make the certification easier because as far as I know, no machine learning, or it is very hard to certify machine learning systems.
Yeah, well, I know just from my conversations with them over the years, the FAA doesn't like to leave anything up to chance. I think we even heard, I forget the NASA speaker today, but she had mentioned combustibles, like
Yeah.
just even the slight chance means that it will happen over the course of time. And when we're dealing with air travel, we don't even want that slight chance. We want beyond Six Sigma
Yeah.
reliability, right?
I'm not saying that it is not a possibility in the future, but right now we are focusing on a deterministic system.
So what exactly about the eVTOL space, or just air taxis, whatever you want to call it, really kind of got you interested in applying your technology?
We believe on the one hand that the technology, that eVTOLs are the future. Looking at the presentations out there, it seems obvious that there's space for it and that it will be a big market in 5, 10, 15 years. And on the other hand, we believe that our technology could enable the industry to combat the influences of weather, to increase the perceived safety, to increase the comfort of the passengers. That's why we are here. We want to understand the space. We want to understand how we can help. And so far, it has been quite insightful.
Yeah, when I first kind of got introduced to the eVTOL concept, let's say I think 6 years ago, a lot of people were selling it as just a big drone. But it's not just a big drone, is it?
Yes, it's much more than a big drone. It's actually close to airplanes. It's close to small airplanes. The ones you sometimes see, Cessnas. It's close to that, and turbulence is an issue for small airplanes in particular, and especially in the areas where those airplanes are going to fly, where the eVTOLs are going to fly, in lower altitudes, in cities, in metropolitan areas. The weather conditions are just different, and turbulence is occurring all the time, especially in the urban canyons here in New York. It could be very challenging.
So wait, what? Urban canyons here in New York. So you're talking like upstate New York?
No, the skyscrapers.
Oh, urban can.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, all right. So that makes sense. That because I mean this is a supremely complex environment,
Yeah.
right? And in terms of even the need for infrastructure, a lot of people have been talking about that. So as somebody who doesn't have to deal with the infrastructure being built out,
Yeah.
what do you think support technology-wise has to happen and be developed for this industry to really take off?
That's a difficult question. I would say it's outside of our expertise, but I think vertiports in cities are kind of crucial to actually make the eVTOLs be more than helicopters.
Right. So basically, there's going to need to be some investment in infrastructure, is what you're saying.
I guess so, but it's far out of our expertise. But we hope that we can help with the infrastructure part as well.
How so?
It's very early, but weather is an issue for airports, and we hope that we can work with data to maybe help in that area as well.
Awesome. So, what other industries do you work in? Because like we've been talking about eVTOL stuff. That's why we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the cool narratives, we just heard it from Mike at the Vertical Flight Society, is that so many industries that might not have 5 years ago even thought about this as a path to develop into, now it is a path. So where are you coming from that your technology can now apply to eVTOL? Like what other industries or applications are there for your technology?
Well, we work across all sectors of aviation, so the AAM sector is just one of them. We also work with small airplanes, and we are also looking at larger airplanes, the ones most people know when they take a trip, when they go somewhere, when they travel somewhere. But that's a little bit more in the future. Right now, we are focused on small airplanes and AM.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
having
coming
me.
to the event. If you could leave anybody with anything, where to find you, what you found exciting about the event, now's your chance.
You can find us on turbulence-solutions.io, and you can find all the information there. We also have a video on our website, I think, where you can see the system in action from our manned test flight, which we conducted last year. And to come to an end, I hope to enjoy a lot more interesting talks here, a lot more interesting conversations, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked to a couple people this morning, but I found your solution particularly of interest. Like I said, we've been talking with a couple people about microweather, how important weather is really for this industry to scale. So nice to see even a solution or a tack on that I hadn't even considered yet. So thank you again, Yves.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
You too.
See you later.
See you
And
later.
I've got some other guests coming up. Hopefully Jason will... Oh, look, perfect timing. So we've got the man of the hour. Yeah, feel free to jump in. So the reason we're all here, happy to finally see you on camera. We missed you yesterday because, it's hard to get Wi-Fi in on site sometimes. Okay. So I gotta keep a little quiet. So we'll try to talk directly into the mic. So Jason, second event, right?
Yeah.
First time in New York City though. So he came to
first
my time
time.
at the yard. You might hear an accent, so he's not actually from from here.
Although, no, it's absolutely great to finally have everyone here as well. So as you can probably hear, we've got people coming in. We've got over 100 people that's currently speaking now. So you'll see there we've got Star, which opened up our presentation earlier today, which was amazing. Currently listening to Sandra Sino from Jaunt Air Mobility, who was just doing a bit more about their Jaunt journey as well. So as Mike was saying, we really want these events to be something where we can bring the whole industry together and really a way of engaging, having those conversations, because this industry is only going to get more and more important. So having people like Star, like Sergio, like Simon, Adam Goldstein from Archer, we've been really humbled by the amount of people that's here, and hopefully we can continue more of the conversations that we have sort of for now and obviously for the future too.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you I've already learned a lot while I was here. Sergio's talk specifically was like the dream crusher. But the economics of this have to make sense. And one thing that is clear is that if you're going to engage in this industry, you need to have a long-term vision and you need to be really serious.
Yeah.
And that's, I also talked with Mike at the Vertical Flight Society about that. Like, so in general, compared to like the small drone space, like, what do you think the scale of investment is? I think people actually like the numbers. They want to know.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing like Adam from Archer saying that to certify, develop, and actually get an aircraft flying, you're talking $500 billion, and that's no mean feat. So a lot of the companies that we're speaking about now are going through crowdfunding, going through fundraising as well. And also part of that financing is getting that business plan in place as well. So you're telling the finances and the investors that is what they want to be. They want to hear. They want to know that this business plan is viable, it's suitable, because it's still very much a growing market. Not a lot of financial investors know a lot about what this space is, but I think they want to be able to put their money where their mouth is, and they want to know that this is going to be viable, it's going to be equitable. We could take one of these aircrafts from JFK into Manhattan as well. We know the journey from there to the town is a painful journey, so it's using as much of the industry and the great speakers that we've got today to showcase that and help them understand more. I think that's going to be a real key thing to it as well. So the more we can do at eVTOL Insights to help spread the word, then it's the better too. Yeah,
and also understanding, because of the scale of the industry, who they need to partner with, and that they actually do need to partner with people to make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think just a final point is, as the next couple of years come along and we get to that commercialisation, we are really going to separate the wheat from the chaff. So we are going to find those companies that, we saw, although because Kitty Hawk, I know a lot of people talk about that, but with Larry Page, the Google co-founder, put a lot of money into that as well, but he was a single investor. Whereas you see the likes of the recent announcement earlier today, Joby and Delta are working together. We've got Archer and United, so big companies that are putting a lot of money into funding that pathway to commercialization as
And
well.
I think Elroy said they were working with FedEx, so that finding actually already established logistics partner, like let's say you're doing middle mile. I don't think we talked about middle mile
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Middle mile is also a huge opportunity for people who don't know that term. That means kind of like everything that happens in the middle of a delivery cycle from, rather than the last mile, which is where it ends up on the truck and at your door or on the drone, hopefully,
Yeah.
and in your backyard. There's a lot of opportunity for middle mile for this technology, and that's more money.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And I think it's really key to tell people that it's not just about travelling from point A to point B. As Kofi at Elroy said today, is there's a lot of air logistics is a massive market. The Amazon effect, as Kofi said in the presentation too, delivering from point A to point B, not just for passengers but also for drone deliveries as well. So many different and very important use cases. Medical, so transporting a patient from the scene of an accident to a hospital. We saw in COVID pandemic transporting medical supplies from hospitals to sort of rural communities that would take otherwise hours to get to. So the technology itself is really sort of showing that there is a huge potential to make make the world a better place and to make it even better than what it is at the moment.
Yeah, I'm even getting inspired while I'm here, just thinking about all right, so COVID happened, our logistic network breaks down, right? If we have other options, things don't get stuck as much, right? So if we're thinking about what happened at the ports, right? That backup, there's only one way to get that stuff out of there. What if you can now also get it out of there vertically and alleviate the congestion? That changes the entire dynamics around demand side kind of
exactly. And
blockage.
And Joe Ben Bever, as we know, CEO and founder of Joby Aviation, his mission is to save, I think, 1 billion people in the world 1 hour a day. And just think what we can do with that 1 hour. Spending time with family, meeting up with friends. No one likes sitting in a traffic jam. So anything that can be done to reduce the time it spends taking in a car to the air, but also from the drone logistics, as we said, to be in a position where they can actually get their packages quicker, and from a business perspective, it gets delivered quicker, and more people want to be part of that too. So.
All right. Any final words, Jason, to leave the audience?
Yeah, no worries. It's just really a case to say thank you ever so much, everyone who is, even if you're not in person as well, your humble support is always greatly appreciated as well. We are going to be doing more of these events, so please stay tuned on our website and our social media channels. Mike, it's great to meet you in person.
Yeah, great
as well,
to finally
and,
meet you in person too.
Really appreciate your support.
Hopefully
as well.
this is the first of many streams, and
Definitely.
we saw a lot of people out there, so we brought a few more people to the event.
Thank
I
you
hope
very
that they
much.
got inspired and that they'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, appreciate that. And any questions as well, anyone, please feel free to drop me an email or on social media as well. We're on eVTOL Insights. We're on Twitter, Instagram and LinkedIn, but also editorial at evtolinsights.com for general inquiries. But very much look forward to hearing from you soon.
All right, I'm going to let Jason go because he's got to get back to his amazing event right now. But thank you again.
No worries. Thanks so much.
I'm just going to say some goodbyes to the audience, and then we're going to close the stream.
Excellent. Thanks ever so much, Mike.
All right, so I want to thank Teresa Alani for saying hi, and also Olga sorry, I'm going to get your last name wrong, Aristizabe. Thank you, who said thank you for joining us today. It's been an amazing time here at eVTOL Insights. That was only a small taste of the amazing people who were here. We mentioned Elroy and Archer. You should also check them out. We got our friend Don Burkhoff from True Weather here. This is kind of the cream of the crop of this industry, all came to talk and kind of network. So keep an eye out on evtolinsights.com and see if whatever their next event is. I know we'll be having people from this community join us on the full crew at some point soon. If you liked what you saw today, please hit the subscribe button, that notification bell, smash the like. All that helps us grow. We grew 130% over last month. That's going to be it for today. You could also go to fullcrew.io and subscribe so you never miss another special broadcast live from events near you.